Good morning, it's August 1st. Cooler this morning than it was yesterday when I started out. And today's journey will take us along the garden path. I decided it's been a couple of weeks since I walked over to the community garden, so I'm going to head in that general direction by whatever path I wander there. It's quite pleasant this morning so far. I'm sure it's going to be warm again. What did I do yesterday? Bought groceries, went to the market. Oh, and put up the 5th book of the Shards of Excalibur in print again on Amazon. That one's called Door into Fairy. So now the entire series is available in ebook, audiobook, and print. And I'm now can think about relaunching the whole series, which is my plan in August, and try to sell a few more copies. However, my main task remains finishing the Tangled Stars revisions and editing the Kickstarter book and doing some freelance work and. My microphone died yesterday, partway through the walk, so hopefully it's charged enough to get us through today. I don't really like the charging method on it. It's this box that you charge, then you put the microphone in it, and it's supposed to charge the microphone, but it doesn't give you any indication of how well the microphone is charged. And it's quits in the morning. There's no way to tell it is almost out. So that's what let me do 2 times. So I got a new one because the old one didn't even be charging at all. And now this one has let me down once, so I'm terribly thrilled overall. Le Winner is the brand name. So there's the porch. Looks like they've moved on to the painting of the new pillars. Been watching Matt be working on all. Get down here, get on the footbridge. It's actually been a while since I crossed the footbridge, hasn't it? I think so. Just the paths I've taken haven't taken me over my old turn the footbridge for a few days, so crossed the Albert Street Bridge a couple of times instead. If you're there on Facebook or YouTube, say hi. I'll be here for an hour or there. See, it's a lovely morning. I'm on the shady side of the street at the moment. Getting unstable internet warnings, which I actually have hardly seen at all in the last few walks, so I don't know what I put that on. I think I forgot to turn off the Wi-Fi when I left the house, so I'm sure the Facebook one took a few minutes to kick in properly. Or the live feed, I mean. Mostly we haven't been able to walk on this side because of the house being built. Now it's almost done, so let's take a closer look. This new house, another construction that's been going on all the time I've been walking this summer. Pretty nice place. Wonder what the yard's going to look like. Okay, over the bridge and through the woods. To grandmother's house we go. Morning. Stop for the traditional look up and down the creek. To the east. And to the west. Quite still, as you can see. Glassy water. We'll be heading west to start with. Haven't quite decided the best way to go. I'll go down Regina Avenue for a while here, a ways, and then move south until eventually we encounter the community garden, which is theoretically my goal. Walked by some of these front yard gardens before. They're very handsome. Let me know if you're there, because I did have unstable internet. It's possible that I've lost my feed and I'm talking to myself, but oh well. That's the case, that's the case. Oh, it's a fountain I've never noticed before. I heard it before I saw it. Of course, the waterfall is over there, among those trees. Might walk by it when I come back, we'll see. Probably not. Watch out for the low-hanging trees. Sprinkling over there, you can see a bit of a rainbow in the water if you look close. Somebody's not there to mow the grass. Here comes a baby and a dog. Morning. Barking's coming from in there. A strip mall over there, and the condo building next to it. Oh, good. got to walk light if I keep going. For some reason my shoes are sticky. I don't know why. Did I step in tar or something without knowing it? Or is it just a function of the new shoes have more grip and they picked up gravel or something? And that's why they feel crunchy. And still nobody has said hi this morning. I hope I'm live. And if I'm not, well, then you're watching the repeat of this, which is fine too. More people do that anyway than watch it live. The repeat, the replay, the recording, that's the word. I knew it started with re. Re. I'll go down a couple of more blocks before I start into the territory to my left, because I don't normally walk this far along Regina Avenue. Over here, I've walked on that side quite a bit. Maybe the next one, or even one more after that. We'll see how that works out. Trying to keep a close eye on the little blue light for the microphone. If it's flashing slowly, I'm connected. If it starts flashing quickly, I'm disconnected. Then I have to unplug the mic and rely on the camera mic, which is what I did yesterday. Argyle. We'll go down one more, and then we'll go to the left. Besides, this road is closed. They must be refurnishing. Well, maybe refinishing. Yeah. Looks like a good place to pick up oil on my shoes. Of course, I'm walking straight toward the Regina International Airport. I've thought about trying to walk out there, but it's not really pedestrian friendly. I mean, I could walk there and back, and it would probably be my hour, but not today. McTavish. All right, we'll go down to McTavish. Start working our way south. And I could walk all the way to Pasco, but I have actually walked along there, and it's not that exciting, so I don't believe I've zigzagged from here, so that's what we'll do, zigzag from here. And immediately there's something in my way. Oh, it's a fence. Oh, the sidewalk just ends. Okay, well, we'll walk on the other side then. There's a nice front garden. Pots and gravel rather than that's certainly different. Is there a sidewalk over here? Yes, there is. Normandy Avenue. We will follow. The fact it's called Normandy is a pretty good indication this is post-Second World War housing. These little houses were probably right after the war. And there was a shortage of housing. A need for affordable housing, I would think. So, neat and tidy, but quite small. It's quite the front garden over there, too, complete with old wagons in it. And a gateway leading into it. presume that fence is being worked on. Somehow it doesn't seem quite complete. Although it also has a very regular pattern to the gaps in it. Princess Street. Is anybody out there? Say hi. I'm feeling abandoned this morning. And again, I'm worried I actually lost the feed and I don't even know it. But if so, then thank you for watching the recording, at least. Or maybe everybody's just asleep because it's Sunday morning. Or at church. Or both. At church and asleep is not an impossible situation, as I know from... Where's that noise coming from? It's coming from that side, so we'll walk down this side. As I know from years of going to church, it's not impossible to be at church and asleep at the same time. It's even in the Bible. The poor guy that fell asleep during a service and fell out of the window, and Paul brought him back to life. Matthias, was that his name? It's a story that resonates with teens, so... Sitting in the window, fell asleep, fell out during church. I think somebody's cutting timber or something down there. Oh. See the squirrels running along the power line? Of course, that's why sometimes we have power outages. The squirrels get in just the wrong place and short something out, and bang, no more squirrel and no more power for a while. Here's Queen Street. It curves. Do I want to curve? Or do I want to carry along the alley one more? That's a good question. Let's go through the alley. Pretty there with the red flowers against the white garage. Down. Well, this is going to curve too, but that's okay. You know, it's a quiet street when the joggers run right down the middle of it. Well, hi, Marianne. So, clearly YouTube is working. I wasn't sure. Hopefully Facebook is too. Well, I can continue zigzagging to the right. Eventually I'll hit Pasqua Street. King's Road, because this, we've got princesses and kings and queens over here. They've got a nice location right there. Oh, and there's the golf course down there, so I think I know where I am. Ah yes, and here's Pasco Street. So that's the Regina International Airport straight ahead. Not the main terminal, but one of the associated buildings. Bit of a park over here, but I think I will go right down to Pasqua. I always like walking kind of to the edge of town so you can see, once you get out of all these trees, every one of which was planted by somebody, it's prairie. Columbus Park there is a baseball diamond. The only trouble is there's no sidewalk here, so I end up walking through the grass. Or I could go over to Columbus Park, but it's not all that exciting. Lakeshore Par 3 golf course is up here. Or I could just walk across the grass here and get back on the path through the park. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Oh, try not to step in a gopher hole. The golf course is right there. I've walked down this side of it quite a bit, so that's why I'm going to come over here and go a little differently. Also, probably more shade over here, at least in spots. This isn't exactly a path, I think it's an alley, but anyway. Tennis court straight ahead of us. Golf course past the parking lot there. Love to walk in the golf course, but that's kind of not a good idea. Interfere with people's playing and possibly get bonked on the head. However, I can probably walk to the other side of the tennis courts at least. Nobody playing tennis this morning. Here's the course. Clubhouse, such as it is. It's right behind these trees here. It's very small. It's only a par 3. That's also on the course, so I won't go that way. And we'll go over to the sidewalk on the other side. There's somebody with the golf clubs. With golf clubs, not the golf clubs or a golf clubs, whatever I actually said. Warm enough now that I've been walking a bit. It's nice to get into these bits of shade along here. Air temperature's not that hot, but the sun is warm. Oh, here comes a jogger behind me, probably the same one. So far, my microphone remains active. Oh, actually, it's a different jogger. The other one was wearing yellow. Oops, school zone. Just slow down to a 30. I think I can do it. Oh, now there's a cat. I've seen 2 squirrels and now a cat. See a friendly cat? Will he stay put while I walk toward him? Probably not. Hello, pussycat. Are you friendly? He's friendly. At least he sniffed me and didn't scratch me. So this is Hill Avenue. We're going to want to go down to the right now. That's a school. This is the Seventh-day Adventist Church here. So they're not having church today. It was yesterday. I'm sure that used to be a fire hall, but now it says Capel Health Region on it, so somehow it serves as a health. I don't think it'd be ambulances. They're all attached to hospitals. There's the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Interesting trees along there. It sure looks like a fire hall. I'm sure it was at one point. And here's Redeemer Reformation Church, Nice little building. There's Pasqua coming up again up there. The community garden, which is theoretically my turnaround point, is off to our left a bit. We'll get there, don't worry. I'm kind of stretching this out in a way, instead of walking directly there. Okay, now we'll go down Queen. The garden is just up there on my right. I didn't actually know it was there until the first time I walked this way, when I actually I had no idea where I was, but that walk was funny. I entered it twice thinking I'd found two different gardens. I got turned around. Nice new sidewalk here. I guess they were working on this street at one point. During one of my walks, but no longer. It's all fresh pavement along here. First we have to cross the creek. Garden's right over there. Oh, hello, somebody else. Hi, TC. We'll walk back through the park over there when we leave. But first, we're headed to the community garden. No water to speak of in the storm channel. It's been very dry. Not much down there. Now let's take this path. It's almost overgrown. It's kind of overgrown. This is the orchard here. Private orchard. People own these trees. And you can see there's some fruit growing on some of them. Long way from ripe. It's come a long way since I was walking here in the spring when it was all just bare dirt, basically. This is the gazebo created by local artist Victor Sikansky. The tree branches holding up the roof, and then you've got vegetables down here around the bottom. corn, and I can smell some of the herbs that are growing. Smells like dill. So it probably is dill. That's what it smells like. Nice place, huh? Makes me almost makes me wish I gardened. Until I think about the work involved, and it's more like, I'd rather other people gardened. I like to look at it, and I like to eat what they grow, but it's definitely dill. You can smell it everywhere. It smells like dill pickles. Unfortunately, I can't transmit smells. All right, well, we'll go on out now to the park across the street and walk through it. Continue on here, but go the Grow Regina garden. Mostly herbs. There's a few flowers, but it's not intended to be a ornamental garden. It's very much people growing stuff for their gardens, for their kitchens, I think. And a few things. Well, there's sunflowers, obviously. Corn. Birds. All right, we'll go over into the park now. This street was completely torn up the first time I walked over here to the garden. Now, which side do I want to walk down? I walked down that side last time to the footbridge, so I think I'll stay on this side this time. Back across the storm channel. Very, very dry. Kinsman Park South. What this is officially, and unofficially too, I guess. Microphone is still connected, that's good. Get over on the little footpath instead of on the big gravel road here. Do a turn around the park. As I say just about every time I do this, I like the crunch on gravel because it makes me feel like I'm moving fast. Well, I thought this carried on down here, but it just takes me back to the same path I was on. Well, that being the case, let's go over here instead. Into the trees where there's a bit more shade. It's a big green park. Regina has a lot of green space, as I often say, and if you watch these walks, you'll see how often I'm walking through parks. Admittedly, I aim for them sometimes, but good morning from Vancouver, Kirk, or good morning in Vancouver. Good morning, Kirk in Vancouver, that's what I'm trying to say. Somebody that has a basketball court in their backyard instead of grass. My dad was a provincial championship winning high school basketball coach. My brother coached the same team one year to the provincials, and also won a football provincial championship when he coached at Peacock in Moose Jaw. So there are certain sports genes in the family, but they skipped me. I played high school football for 1 year, and that was it. Why football? Because I was big, and I was the lineman. I was a center. I could snap the ball. I didn't do the long snaps. I just did the short snaps. And then I could hit people or get in their way. So that was kind of my skill set. I was good at badminton for some reason, but never played it competitively. Track and field, I did shot put 1 year. Didn't train for it, just did what I could. Wasn't great. My brother had a provincial record for a while. Morning. I always like to walk, though. I did jog for a while, but I took it up way too late. Well, maybe I didn't. Maybe I found out by taking it up like last fall that had I done it my whole life, my knees would be shot, because my knees immediately started bothering me. So I would jog. I did about 4K, not a huge amount. And don't want to go that way, I don't want to keep following it this way. I think I'll just stick up this side of the path today. And then my knees would be so sore, I didn't dare jog for, a week. So that wasn't very exercise conducive. But with the walking here, I'm up to well over 140 consecutive days of walking. There may be a break. I may take a break sometime in August, just because it has been 100 and some days of walking. And there may be some time constraints coming up, but so if I stop, don't worry, I haven't died or quit permanently. It's just a temporary hiatus. Much as, the egotistical part of me would like to go for a full year without a break, without ever not doing it. Probably not practical. I've been lucky with the weather too. I have walked in the rain once under an umbrella. That was a very popular one too, because it was pouring rain that day. Been sprinkled on a couple of times. Actually, winter will be harder, because when it's, if the wind chill is 40 below or 50 below, not that likely to want to risk frostbite. And I don't know, the battery probably wouldn't even last very long on the phone. There's a water park there, as you can see. Playground here. Not too many kids out at the moment, but there's a few families. Soccer field, or football field for my European followers. Not just European, anywhere in the world, I guess, except North America football. All right, so I will go this way now. Go down that side of the park to finish my circumnavigation of it, and then I'll start the walk back home. All this grass was a lot greener back in the spring with all the hot, dry weather. Well, it is August, and this is kind of August grass. It starts to get quite brown, unless it's watered constantly. They do water parts of the parks, but not all of the parks. kept our backyard fairly well watered, not so much the front. It has bad grass anyway in the front. Very shady, and it's been very patchy and never recovered from renovations when we had a big plywood walkway built across part of it that just killed it right off. So it's very patchy. But the back's not too bad, and we do have our little veggie truck back there and some flowers and stuff, so I try to water it fairly regularly. And it's still quite green and lush. They like, I don't know, 10 square meters of grass that might be back there, if that. Well, if you say anything right now to me, I cannot see a thing. Microphone remains attached and active, so that's good. Find the shade again. There we go. You walk down something like this. This could be anywhere in Saskatchewan, any small town in Saskatchewan or city. All our cities are small by world standards, of course. Regina is about 200,000 tops. Might not even be there. And Saskatoon's about 220 or 230, I think now. It's a bit bigger. Those are the only two of that size. After that, you drop all the way down to Moose Jaw, which is maybe, I don't know, 35,000. Yorkton is like 15. My old town of Weyburn is 10,000 tops. They were claiming 10,000 for years before they actually got to 10,000. It was more like 6,000 when we moved there, and they used to say they had 10,000 on the signs out in front of the city. Maybe that was the metropolitan area. Newspaper I worked for, the Weyburn Review, though, was one of the largest weeklies in the province. We had a circulation of about 6,000. So almost everybody in Weyburn subscribed, and a lot of that then also came from the big surrounding area that we considered our coverage area, because we covered stuff in, I once figured it out, an area the size of Belgium. Places like Stoughton, Fillmore, Creelman, Beaubier, Menton, Lake Alma, Mydale, Hallbright, Griffin. Some of those places weren't really places. Not anymore. Maybe they were incipient places, but they died over time. There were only a handful of people living in some of those places. Some of them are fair size, like Stoughton was good size, Fillmore. I think this is probably a new school, but I don't know for sure. Being built over here. Do I go back through the park? I think not. I think I feel like I've done the park. I should be getting a good signal right here. Assuming that's a cell phone tower. Ow! Crack in the sidewalk twisted my ankle a little bit. So far I haven't hurt myself walking, but I've come close a couple of times. It's got to be a new school. Probably replacing this one. All right, we'll start working our way homeward. Argyle School, okay. I'm pretty sure that would be a new school being built right next to something like that in this neighborhood. Pretty sure, but I don't know for certain. There's Argyle School from this direction, if you're curious. Here's your road here, so let's go take the crosswalk to get over. A turret! I like houses with turrets. Now, if I walk straight up here, which I'm not going to do, it would take me home pretty quickly. But I'm going to zig up and zag through here instead. Funny how often somebody will pull up right in front of you when you're doing this. Somebody playing loud music, although you probably couldn't really hear it. All right, we will turn north again. Oh, we really have turned, because there's, this is Ray Street already. Albert is right up there, so. Interesting, I would not have placed myself there in my mental map of how the streets worked. So, clearly the park repositioned me somewhat from where I thought I would end up coming back this way. Or some of those other curvy roads. I think I'll just keep walking up Ray here for the moment. And it's fairly shady on both sides here. Third Avenue. I've actually been in here when we were looking at care homes for my mother-in-law. I think that's one we toured. Not particularly scenic. Disposal bin here. But if you need a bin, there's the number to call. Assiniboine. Albert is just down there a couple of blocks. So I walked along here, somewhere along here, just the other day when I did Lakeview between Hill and, well, Hill South, which was a different street sometimes depending on which block I was on. Nice quiet Sunday morning. When it gets cooler, I'll probably start walking on weekends. I'll be more likely to walk in the afternoons. Right now I always do it in the morning before the heat kicks in, but walking in the afternoon, well, might get a different set of people finding it, but also it means I can spend my weekend mornings relaxing with my coffee at home instead of rushing to get outside before it gets hot. And again, I'll probably take a break soon. Take a vacation from my grueling YouTube agenda. So if I don't walk for a few days, don't panic. I'll be back. Just have some other things coming up that are going to take some extra time. So. There's McCallum coming up, I think. So I'll zig over to the left There's this hill. Oh, this is probably just hill. I'm so far south. Either way, I'll move over to Cameron, which is where the footbridge is. Or I end up going over to the right. Because technically I'm actually closer to Albert now. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, whichever one it is. And switch sides, more shade on the other side. Oop, unstable internet connection. Oh, it went away again. Short-lived. Nope, it's back. And it's gone again. Well, since I'm this far over, I might as well go closer to Albert, walk along Angus. Won't walk down Albert again, I just did that a couple of days ago. Now we'll just stick to Angus all the way down to Regina Avenue. Besides, it's a really nice tunnely street, tree-wise. Lots of shade, nice big houses for the most part. Not cookie cutter houses for sure. Oh, this one I know well. I know the person who lives there, and I've been in there a few times. Many times, I guess, really. This is always very pretty at Christmas time with these old houses when they're decorated up. Some of them are decorated very nicely. I particularly like that one, very symmetrical, which appeals to me. A very symmetrical one. Yeah. Not really. It's just an incentive for me to walk. So I live stream it every day, and then I put it on YouTube. That's what I do.
Like, I'm giving lectures this fall on the 10 defining buildings of the city.
Oh.
And so much of the historical walks you wrote, right?
Yeah.
So well done and they're so accurate.
Well, a lot of that work was done by Heritage Regina, and I just carried it over into the book. So I don't like to take too much credit for it, but I tried to dig up a few extra things. And
Are you doing something now?
yeah, actually, I'm finishing up my walk here. I've got like three people watching live right now.
Thanks for doing what you did.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That was nice. You probably couldn't hear what he said, but he was thanking me for the book I wrote, Historic Walks of Regina and Moose Jaw. which, as I said, I don't like to take too much credit for, because most of the information had already been compiled by Heritage Regina, and I followed, to a certain extent, I followed their existing paths. What I did was flesh it out when I could find additional information. I referred to a number of sources, and I walked the walks and took a photo of every single house on those walks, or every building. And I really should do something with those photos. Some of those places are gone now. They weren't all used in the book. A lot of them were, but not all of them. Now the Moose Jaw, I kind of created my own walks. There were a few suggestions of interesting buildings that I then had to design a walk around. So there were 8 Regina walks in the book and 2 Moose Jaw walks. So I should get to Moose Jaw. That would be an interesting walk for sure. Or 2 or 3. And Moose Jaw is only about a 40-minute drive from here. Down the Trans-Canada. I saw somebody else say hi there. Who's there? Oh, Rhea. Yes. Nice sunny day is right. Nice and clear today. No smoke to speak of. There might be a little bit, but hard to be sure. I can't smell it anyway. Now if I point out this house, it's a big one. I don't know if it's still multiple apartments or what it is exactly now. I think it is because it has a sign in front of it. It was some sort of group home, halfway house thing at one point, after being originally built as a single family dwelling. Didn't actually stay that very long. If I remember my own book that I was just talking about, which, you know, is iffy. There's been a lot of books under the old brain bridge over the years. It's always interesting to go back to something you wrote years ago. Sometimes the words don't even seem familiar. Like the political history book that just came out. I wrote it, my sections of it, years ago. I don't even know how many years ago, at least 5, maybe more. And it finally came out. And I was reading segments of it and thinking, I wrote that? Oh, that's really interesting. It's a retrospective on the Grant Devine years in Regina. He was premier in Saskatchewan. He was premier in the 80s. So most of what I wrote were these sort of straightforward journalistic chapters about events, and scandals, and all that stuff. I like that one too. Then there were a few chapters that were more academic, lots of charts and economic analysis and stuff like that. So there were 3 credited authors. I probably wrote the bulk of it, so my name's on there first, but there's 3 authors. And it's called So Much More We Can Be. It's published by a think tank, I guess you'd call it. Frontier Center for Public Policy, I think they call themselves. I have no idea who's buying it. It's not a royalty arrangement, so I won't get any sales reports. It was very lucrative work for hire. There's more money writing about politics than there is writing science fiction and fantasy, unfortunately. It's a shame I'm not that interested in it. I like the shingles in that house. So, let me just see how long I've been walking, and that will determine how I get across the river here. At least my microphone has stayed charged. Let me see. I've been out for Oh, over an hour, hour 10. Okay, well, we'll take the shortest way home then, which is across the Albert Street Bridge from here. Can I jaywalk? Oh, I can totally jaywalk. I think I can safely jaywalk. Of course, that's the lake across the street. Walked around there on Friday, as I do pretty much every Friday. Again, if some Friday you tune in and I'm not walking around the lake, don't panic. I probably will take a break. Summertime break seems like a good thing to do. Doesn't mean I won't be walking, I just won't be live streaming. But if I do that, it'll be later in August. And if I don't do that, oh, forget I said anything. Here we go across the Albert Street Bridge, the Albert Street Bridge, the Albert Street Bridge. Here we go across the Albert Street Bridge so early in the morning. Not that early anymore. 9:40. Rotary Park, established 1937. Over there. Sometimes I walk through it, but not today. Today we take the bridge. Not over the River Kwai, but over the Wascana Creek. I guess it'd be the Creek Wascana. With the buffalo heads and the terracotta balustrade. The terracotta lamps. Usually there are pelicans down here. Let's see. There's almost always one on that rock right there. He looks asleep. This is the spillway for the dam, but it doesn't look like much water is coming through right now probably because it's fairly low water with all the heat. Here you go, you can see him better from here. There he is. Just chilling. There's the creek, of course. Oh, wonder when they changed the flags. Last time I came over the bridge, which was only a couple of days ago, it was all Canadian flags. And now, it's all Saskatchewan flags. Well, I guess tomorrow is technically, it's called different things in different provinces, but it's called Saskatchewan Day here, so putting up Saskatchewan flags would seem to make sense. I'm sure the Canadian flags are up for Canada Day for July, and then I guess these are for Saskatchewan Day tomorrow. They're not flying very bravely right now with no breeze. Speaker's Corner over there. Still working on these murals down here. I walked down there the other day when I went around the lake. They still got some space to fill. And now we're on a very familiar stretch. If you walk with me regularly. The last couple of blocks here. Normally I mention that Harrington Mews over here is where Wally Knight from my young adult fantasy series, The Shards of Excalibur, lives, in a fictional house in a real location, just down there. And I could even have mentioned that today because I just got the 5th book finally out in a new paperback edition through Amazon. I haven't put it out through Ingram yet, still to come. So the complete set is now available in ebook, audiobook, and print, Shards of Excalibur, on Amazon. The ebooks are only available on Amazon right now because I'm experimenting with that for a while. Print books are only available on Amazon right now, but will be available elsewhere soon. And the audiobooks are on Audible. I could have mentioned all that in conjunction with Wally Knight living back there in Harrington Mews, but I won't. I'll get on the other side here because just to be different, and also so we can walk by this nice garden that they put at the end here. Some really tall sunflowers going up there. It's a nice touch on this little bit of boulevard.
Hi, Ed.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I didn't turn the camera on him. But you'll see him there. All right, through the alley onto Angus Crescent, and we're home shortly thereafter. Well, I am. Don't know where you are. Probably you're home. To having school dead ahead. Well, this was a bit longer walk than I guessed when I set out, but that's okay. Sundays are often a bit longer. Oh, I know what else I forgot to mention. It's a podcast day, so there will be a podcast episode later in the day. Violet Milan, fellow author. So check that out at theworldshapers.com. It'll probably go live sometime this afternoon, that's all I'll say. It's Sunday, but I still have work to do. I have some manuscript evaluation to do too for somebody. It'll take me an hour or so. I mean, I've already read the manuscript, but or enough of it to evaluate it anyway. Alrighty, well, this will do. Someplace where there's no cars. Thanks for walking with me live if you're still there, and thanks for watching the recording if that's how you saw this. Bye for now.